Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we're going to talk about that PlayStation State of Play that's happening on Friday, because even though it's technically not confirmed yet, there is a bunch of leaks about when it is, what games are going to be, they're all different studios, but everybody is basically saying, every industry insider is saying, this is the big one, the Sony showcase that's supposed to remind you, hey, aren't you glad you have a PlayStation? Now, I wanted to talk about this because most of the rumblings, in my opinion, are pretty safe bets. It's going to be a mix of first party and third party. We're going to see stuff like, I don't know, a Days Gone remaster or something like, I don't know, Death Stranding 2, Metal Gear Solid Delta. But the leaks I want to talk about in this video are two that are, I feel like they'll break the internet. There is talks about a full-blown remake of the original God of War and a Bloodborne remaster. For real this time, but let's take a look at the evidence. I hope you're having a great day, and if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, let's just start with the fact that I 100% believe these leakers and the fact that people are saying this is happening either on Thursday night or Friday morning. Kind of a love letter to the PlayStation fans since it is happening on Valentine's Day. But what's cool about this is that already leakers are saying something about this is going to be extra different. The last year, in my opinion, has been a lot of bad news for PlayStation. I mean, think about the headlines involving Sony. PlayStation Network going down, Concord being a complete dumpster fire. I mean, stuff like Astrobot's been positive, but a lot of Sony news, it's been either mixed or boring, right? So it's nice the fact that people are finally hearing the fact that it sounds like Sony has been actually really trying their hardest to bring back what people want the most. Now, this project, apparently the leak is that the specific quote is, they said, I've heard that people that are currently in charge of God of War are working on a younger Kratos going back to Greece. Now, a lot of PlayStation fans call this the Greek Saga because it wasn't just a trilogy, it was a whole set of games. Prequels, weird in-between games, Ghost of Sparta, all that. But everybody except me definitely loves a lot of the old God of War games. Now, I've said this on record multiple times. I don't really like the older God of War stuff. I feel like I played them with the wrong mindset. I played each of them as they came out, and I'll be honest, I feel like my problem was that I bought a PlayStation 2 to play Final Fantasy in like racing games like Need for Speed Underground 2. So for whatever reason, playing a game where I'm pressing circle to rip off a gargantuan giant's head and stuff like that, it was cool, but it never really wowed me as much as the rest of the audience. I'm kind of curious to see, even if it does just turn out to be these 5 games being remastered, remasters now are getting much more intense. It's not just, hey, we've spruced up the resolution or stuff like that. Remasters these days, it does feel like they added completely new graphics. They restore cut content. They do an extra director's commentary and stuff. We have seen so many remasters that, in my opinion, basically are remakes. But we know for a fact that part of what makes this project so peculiar is that we know that it's not being done by Sony Santa Monica. Now, the person that made the last 2 God of War games, Sony Santa Monica, these of course won a lot of awards, God of War 2018, God of War Ragnarok, but they have said they're working on something completely new. In fact, even leakers and stuff have been talking about the fact that there are 2 IPs that are currently in development that are supposed to be the real big wowers. The Cory Balrog project at Sony Santa Monica and Neil Druckmann's amazingness of Intergalactica. But the fact that Cory Balrog, who was so incredibly good at making God of War 2018, is working on something completely new, I'm excited about both aspects of this. I feel like I'm so happy that the people that made God of War Ragnarok are now working on a completely new idea with a new world, new graphics, new story, new characters. But I also like the fact that if they're overseeing this, if the people that are currently the brand leads of God of War are actually worrying about a God of War remake, I feel like this would be awesome. A full remake or a remastered trilogy, remastered collection, I feel like this would be so incredibly good. I mean, I don't know, the potential of that character. I feel like there's so much extra they could explore, so much extra gore and carnage. I feel like it would be cool to see. Personally, I do want to see how they would change the combat, how they would change stuff. Maybe not make it like obviously slow methodical God of War 2018. That's practically like Dark Souls. That's what a lot of people say. I'm not saying that. A lot of people say that slow methodical combat to them felt like Dark Souls. But the other remaster I want to talk about is a bunch of people are talking about a Bloodborne remaster. Now, this is not just the fact that it's been added to the PlayStation concert lineup. The PlayStation State of Play seems like one of the projects that very likely is going to show up is the Bloodborne remake. So there's a guy named Lance McDonald. This guy made a hack, a patch where if you had an unupdated PlayStation 4, you could actually go into it, go into the code, and using this guy, it's like a fucking 200-step process. This guy basically made it so you could play the original Bloodborne from start to finish, including the DLC, at 60 FPS. It ran great. And so just a couple days ago, he said, hey, it got DMCA'd. Sony came to me, their lawyers said, hey, take it down. So I had to take it down. Everything about this, including the videos about the Bloodborne remake, they legally got struck. Now, I'm going to be copium and say this is a good thing. He basically was like, yeah, I'm sad that people can't see my mod anymore, but I'm much more happy about the fact that it does seem like Sony wants to have things like Bloodborne 60 FPS and Bloodborne Remake. They want those to be the top search result once they officially reveal it. Also, we don't know for a fact that they've cleaned up the trademark, so it does seem like this does, to me, seem real. In fact, people have been making little fan projects and stuff. Everything Bloodborne related that's one of the top search results has recently been DMCA'd. Now, to me, I do still feel like this is a good chance because now that the Kurokawa deal is done, the people that actually make Dark Souls are now partially owned by PlayStation. Every bit of it. So Elden Ring is technically a little bit owned by PlayStation. Dark Souls, Bloodborne is 100% owned by it. But this is now a chance where the original creators of it have essentially kind of hinted at the fact that they didn't want to touch Bloodborne until they could fully approach it again, do it completely full force, which to me, I always kind of took as them saying they'd rather do Bloodborne 2 than a Bloodborne remaster, which is fine. But I think at this point, this would be hype. Even stuff like the fact that they recently put Bloodborne in that trailer. They did like a welcome to PlayStation trailer, and they put in a clip of Bloodborne in that trailer, which is weird because the game came out like 10 years ago. I am super curious about the state of play in general, but specifically these two games. But what do you guys think about it? Are you excited about the future of PlayStation? And how do you feel about a Bloodborne remaster and a God of War remake? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming. I'm slowly getting better at talking. Sometimes I feel like I'm still having the difficulty of having a giant foreign object in my mouth. My mouth constantly wants to overly salivate, so I'm sorry if I sound extra Thakatas. I sound like, what's the cat? Sylvester the cat that always goes, Thakatas. I accidentally sound like that. Look at that though, hi. I still can't used to having teeth. It looks so weird to me. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.